One of the reasons that going off-road is so exciting is that we get to push the limits of our vehicles, but unfortunately, like you're going to see today, every once in a while you find them.
That's kind of sketchy. I'm already
Super sketchy, man.
This is all on camera.
I know. I don't care. Like,
Today on Dirt Lifestyle, bringing my two friends from Washington, my two closest friends, and we're doing Hell's Revenge. I'm breaking them in right. This is their first time doing anything this steep, which for a lot of you at home have done Hells, you probably, it's not that steep. But for Washington, this is insane steep. Everything's so slippery, you can't get to these angles. So yeah, anyway, we're gonna go have fun on Hells. We're gonna try a couple of the obstacles that I've never done before, and it's gonna be awesome. Some of the trails here in Moab are weird in the fact that the bigger you're built, it's almost to your detriment, not to your advantage. And what I mean by that is you're gonna get better results on a trail like Hell's Revenge just by being closer to stock than so built like we are. You don't need ground clearance here. You don't need big tires. What you really need is good grip and something that's very stable. So the three rigs you're gonna see in today's video are all built for the Pacific Northwest rock crawling. Crawling slippery rocks with lots of ground clearance. I've done this trail a number of times, so I know what to expect, but my two friends, Andy and Kelly, have never done anything like this, and I can't wait to show them just how steep you can get when you actually have traction. I try to make Hell's Revenge the first trail I hit every time I come back to Moab, because after being away from Moab for a while and wheeling in the Pacific Northwest, you forget how steep the angles are here, and Hell's Revenge is a nice, safe trail in my opinion to help get my courage back. So this is pretty much the beginning of our week here in Moab, and this is the first time Kelly and Andy have ever been here. So I figured I'd pass the torch with my own personal tradition, which is to start my week here at Hell's Revenge. And hopefully this will loosen them up a bit, because later this week, we're gonna be doing Pritchett Canyon. If you've never done Hells before, there's an obstacle early on in the trail that I think is a perfect locker checker. What's nice about obstacles like this is it's steep enough in order to check all your parts, and if you have something that's going to fail, in many cases an obstacle like this will show you that it's the weak link. We are still early enough in this trail that turning around would not be a big deal, but the deeper we get, the harder it's going to be to retrieve a vehicle. So I like to use parts checkers or locker checkers like this obstacle just to make sure that everything is functional and we should continue on our day.
See these little yellow markings on the trail. Just stay on those yellow markings, it'll be gold.
Because of time constraints, we're only going to be able to spend half the day on this trail, so we're going to beeline straight to the big obstacles, starting with Hell's Gate, working our way through the hot tubs, and then ending on Escalator to Hell. My plan is to lead these guys through a bunch of the optional sections, so on our way to Hell's Gate, they can get a really good idea of what this trail is all about.
right there.
What do you think, guys?
It made it look a lot easier.
Yeah, it made it look easy, but with my wheelbase, it's going to be the toughest, I think.
Well, I'll go first.
I'll
think
go
just
first
picking a good line,
and
good
we'll see what
spot,
happens. I have you guys up here as anchor points. Hell's Gate is probably one of the least respected obstacles out here in Moab, and I don't know exactly why that is. I think that it's not super steep, so maybe people are just sleeping on it, but the reality is this isn't a difficult obstacle because of how steep it is, and trust me, it's much steeper than it looks on camera. You just can't capture what it feels like to be in the vehicle. But the reality is this is a challenging obstacle because it's a V-notch. V-notches are usually pretty disorienting, and it can very quickly put you on your side. When you combine that with the fact that this is also a hill climb, it makes it to where you will have a lot of rollovers on this obstacle. And if you look it up online, just type in Hell's Gate rollover, there are hundreds of videos of people rolling over on this. My strategy here was just to straddle each side of this V-notch with my tires and put it in my lowest gear. Slowly but surely, my Jeep just worked its way right up. I liked it. I got to be honest, I'm a little shaky, and all the people have done this a million times. I mean, they're going to be laughing, but the first time up,
I'm not laughing.
it definitely wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. You just got to like trust your instincts and, you know, just know that tire placement, but it goes fast if you just keep moving, and that's what I did. So luckily I made it up. Are you guys going to go?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Who's going next? Are you going next?
Feeling pretty peer pressured right
Yeah.
You don't have to go.
I mean, I'll go
now.
next.
Gotta do it, though.
I'll go next.
You'll go next?
Yeah, I mean, now there's a crowd. You attract
Right.
everybody over here.
Kelly, you got this. Boom. At 98 inches, Kelly by far has the smallest wheelbase on our group. But he's a good driver and he knows this rig, so we're all pulling for him.
It did.
We can either pull cable, which I think is probably the smart way to handle this.
Yeah, just do it.
You can turn passenger and go back just a little bit. It's up to you. Do you want to put a line on it?
Yes, sir.
I knew you weren't going to be too proud. Alright, I'm going to get my Jeep.
Well, that didn't go as planned, but luckily Kelly kept a cool head and he could feel that that front end was getting light, so he stopped. This saved him from rolling all the way back down, and now it's our job to get him up safely.
All right, Cap. We want to try to get you as close to up here as we can. Or get you taken care of, Kelly. Man, I wish there was an anchor point over there.
Believe it or not, I've got a strategy for getting him recovered here. The problem is, and something that you can't really see in the camera, is that the position that we had to anchor him could potentially lift his tires up higher and make it to where he goes completely on his side, and that's not what we want. So my strategy is to put a little bit of tension on the winch, and then you'll see me step on the line.
Actually, looks like it's going to go the right way, so let's just bring it in a little bit.
Whenever I put weight on that line, I'm paying attention to which direction the body is trying to fall whenever there's tension on the line. Luckily for us, it's trying to fall to where all four tires are going to be planted. So then I have Kelly tighten up the line just enough to where he can use his own power to flatten himself out.
I like that a lot. Bring it down a little more. Let's leave it there, because now you're not going backwards. I say what we do, fire it up, ride it. You're not going to be able to turn driver, so you're just going to have to ride it as it is, and we're just going to have to play between your throttle and the winch, and we should be able to just slowly walk you out to this flat spot.
You'll make it up. There you go. Bring that winch in and just slowly throttle out. Stop, stop, stop. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Now you should be able to
turn your tires. Oh, I like that. Okay. No winch. Just come up with your own power. The reason I tell him no winch here is because I'm concerned that it's going to pull that tire back up, putting us back in the same situation we just were in. But as you can see, now that he can turn his tire, he can drive flat and cruise right up to the top.
All right, stop, bud. Nice work, dude. Totally saved it.
Wait till your mother finds out.
All right, who's next?
How you feel about it, Kelly?
Oh, it was a little sketchy, for sure. But we got her.
I almost got it, dude.
Yeah, almost. It was that close,
Yeah.
but
I was filming, I tried telling you to turn a little bit, but I mean.
yeah, I think I just had bad tire placement, and then my wheelbase is a little bit shorter, so that doesn't help either. But I think it was mostly where my tire was.
Poor Cap seems really scared. I'd hate to embarrass him on the internet, but you know, it was a little dramatic there for a minute, and he's so unfamiliar with stuff this steep, and it's so easy to get tricked up in a V-notch, but I think he's gonna do just fine. He's wide, he's long, it's on an automatic. I think it's gonna be no problem. Now that Cap's walked his way up Hill's Gate, we can move on to the hot tubs, and it's a really pretty little stretch between here and the hot tubs. This stretch of the trail in particular looks exactly what you think Moab would look like if you've never been here. Big rolling hills made out of sandstone with two black lines rubbed into the middle of them from all the years of people using this area for off-road. And if you think this looks good on video, I strongly encourage you to come see it in person. There are 3 hot tubs in total. We've got Devil's Hot Tub, we've got Devil's Bathtub, and then there's Mickey's Hot Tub. The first 2 are Devil's Hot Tub and Devil's Bathtub. Devil's Hot Tub is very difficult and in my opinion is a buggy line. So we're gonna do Devil's Bathtub, which is relatively easy and you can do with most vehicles. Then once we've all completed this area, we're gonna make our way down to Mickey's Hot Tub, which is my favorite and something that I think is very doable, but still very challenging. Now that we've knocked out the easiest of the 3 hot tubs, we can move our way up to Mickey's Hot Tub. And it's kind of confusing, but Devil's Hot Tub and Devil's Bathtub are both together, and then Mickey's Hot Tub is just a little bit further down the trail. Mickey's Hot Tub would be the second if you were to rate these in order of easiest to hardest. But to be honest, it's kind of a big jump from Devil's Bathtub. I would say that it's closer to Devil's Hot Tub, it's just a little bit shorter in height. At 103 inches, my Jeep has a relatively short wheelbase. And so obviously it's not the best whenever we're trying to climb up these steeper obstacles, but it's doable. One of the strategies that I use that I think really helps in a scenario like this is I let a lot of air out of the front tires. To do Mickey's, I took the front tire pressure down to about 3, hoping that'll give me a little extra grip to pull me out of the hot tub. I spent quite a while trying to work my way up this obstacle. I just didn't quite have enough wheelbase to make it easy. And even with low gears, low tire pressure, and trying to find that perfect line, Mickey's hot tub proved to be a very challenging adversary. And for a moment, I had this feeling like I would do anything to get up this obstacle. And all I gotta say is be careful what you wish for. What you just witnessed is called runaway. And in the diesel world, this is a bad word. This is a scary scenario to be in. And about halfway up this obstacle, I let out of the throttle, but it continued to rev to the moon, and I knew that there was a problem. The only thing that I could do is just steer it and hope that I could get to a flat spot before I try to kill the ignition. So once I reached a stopping point, I pushed in the clutch, hoping to drop it into overdrive, dump the clutch, and kill the engine. But it revved up super fast. I just killed the ignition, first things first, and then I threw it into gear. Lucky for me, just turning off the Jeep was able to stop my runaway scenario, but that isn't always the case. And in this instance, whenever that engine stopped, there was all of this extra boost in the system from the turbo over-spooling and over-boosting that it blew off one of my lower charge pipes. But to be completely honest, as soon as I heard that pop, I was convinced that I threw a rod through the block. I thought that this engine was done, and I was very happy to find out that that wasn't the case.
Okay, Nate, we heard that big explosion. What happened? And
Well,
we saw it.
Well, I was up at an angle for a long time. I made a whole lot of extra oil get into the charge pipes, and this turbo has been going bad for a while, and so there's already a lot of oil in the charge pipes. And once I got to the top, it over boosted clearly and popped one of my charge pipes. So now we're basically just wiping up the oil and stuff that was in the intercooler. I'm gonna reattach the charge pipe and hopefully it starts right back up and doesn't skip a beat.
That's the goal anyways.
That's the hope. It is running. It is really weird that it started that way.
Do you have a map? Or a map?
Yeah.
Sounds like air rushing. Is that normal?
Yeah, well, it's just because the turbo's not hooked up to anything. The charge pipes are disconnected. I just wanted to hear it idle.
Oh, okay.
And this way, it wouldn't try to run away on me. Because it was trying to run away from all the extra oil, but I killed it in the nick of time. So that's why I wanted to start it without the charge pipe hooked up, making sure it doesn't suck up any more oil vapor trying to run away. So the way that I have this hooked up is like in a factory orientation. So I just want to explain, because people are going to be asking very specific questions. So I have a positive crankcase ventilation tube that comes out of the back of our valve cover back here, and it goes into the intake stream, and that's how it's set up from the factory. And since we're at such a crazy angle, it was just sucking tons of oil in, which is something that I've always known as a possibility, but has never once been a problem. So when I do version 2.0 of this engine, what I'm probably going to be doing is a catch can. And the catch can is going to make it to where there is basically a place for that oil to go without getting sucked back into the intake. And you know, it's just the way it is. It's been running this way for 4 years and I've never had that problem, but I was inclined for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we bolt it all back together and it still works. But now that it ran with the charge pipe disconnected, I have more confidence in connecting the charge pipe back up, and hopefully it's just open it up a couple times and it'll burn off any oil that's remaining in there. We'll see what happens.
Okay. It's moving. Well, Cap, what do you think? You gonna do it?
I think I'm gonna try it.
You gonna try it?
Yes.
I see you lined up already, so
yes.
we're assuming that you're gonna try it.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
I'm sure Caps was loving this moment, watching me almost destroy my Jeep to get up this obstacle, and then he walks right up. Either way, I know for sure he's happy that we're all leaving under our own power and he doesn't have to tow me out of the rest of this. So now it's time to move on to Escalator, which is an obstacle that I've never been able to do successfully, and I can't wait to push this Jeep even harder. Our final obstacle today is Escalator, and this is kind of a weird one. It's essentially 2 hot tubs, or like 1.5 hot tubs, that you have to climb up into and out of in order to reach the top. The one other time that I tried this obstacle, there was a lot of water in it and it made it almost impossible for me to do. This will be my first attempt with the wheelbase being stretched in my Jeep and with it being lighter, so I'm very confident, but I know that this can be a really challenging one at the end of the day. After taking it real easy on my Jeep to make sure I didn't have another runaway scenario, it is now time for Caps to go up. His automatic transmission, long wheelbase, and wide wheelbase have been great on everything up until this point. Let's see how it does here. Today was outstanding. I had such a good time. What about you guys?
I had a blast, man.
It was amazing.
This place
Crazy.
This is essentially, you're watching their first time doing like a real Moab trail. Yesterday we went out with the families and we did like the Arches 4x4 loop, which is fun, but it's not, I mean, you could get that anywhere other than the views. I think this trail is a really good way to like break yourself in to how steep things can get out here. And I love it. I saw smiles all day, and no one has any pistons outside of their blocks, so I think that we're going to end this video here.
Yeah, for sure.
And so thank you very much for watching. Make sure you follow my buddy Andy on Instagram at
I don't even know.
Andy_caps.
We know it. He does.
And then my friend Kelly at
Muddy Beards 4x4, YouTube and Instagram.
So we're gonna go hit another trail because I'm a glutton for punishment. Oh, I should address the elephant in the room. Kelly's not gonna do this obstacle, and he's being an adult. I gotta be honest.
I really want to do it.
I shouldn't have done this obstacle. He's here. He's gonna be driving his family around on this all week, and this is essentially the first day. So it's smart for him to not do it. I know people are gonna give him crap in the comments, but if this is a game of endurance, we got to make it to Friday. And wheel every day, and he's gonna drive there around town or whatever. So haters, take it easy. You'll see Kelly in the future. When we come back, he's definitely gonna do this obstacle, but he's got to take it easy because Mrs. Kelly would not appreciate him coming home with a rolled over Jeep.
That's true. I appreciate it.
Or broken axles or whatever else.
Yeah,
So anyway,
it
if you enjoyed the video, thumbs up, subscribe, like, all that other stuff you do to YouTubers. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Okay?